Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm in my sweater tonight. Got my suit back there, but it's later. This is later in the evening. This is my last, let's see, video, I think, for tonight. I'm not sure. New York Times wants me to sign into their account. So there is actually an article. This is to do with giants again, by the way. We're still on the giant scenario. An article back in 1882, page 5, May 25th. So, New York Times subscribers can read the article. I am not one. Just to say, I'm not one. So I don't think I can actually maximize this or anything to that, anything to do with that. Looks like they're keeping that to their subscribers. Let's see, New York Times. Yeah, you guys, this is 1890. Wow. Let's read the full text is unavailable for digitizing archives articles. Subscribers may view the full text of this article in its original form through Time's Time Machine. So we have to actually be a part of it or pay them to do this. But the past few weeks have flocked to the site, unearthed Indian graveyard near Edgewater venue in Pennsylvania, Pleasantville. The first lot of skeletons unearthed was about 1,000 yards from the city post office and embraced 8 bodies closely laid together in a deep chamber, snugly packed in with tortoise, oyster, and clam shells. Now we can't see the full text. It looks like New York Times has they have the right to it. So you could go to New York Times. You can see on all the postings they have. Just kind of sucks. So we're gonna have to get rid of New York Times. Dang it. Okay, well, let's see if we can find something else. Giants article is gonna be iffy because they're gonna talk about the New York Giants. Yep. Okay, so let's do nephilim, right? Let's see if we can find something that way, because I'm seeing tons of this. Okay, let's see. We can't see the dang articles. That's a problem. And I'm not going to subscribe to the New York Times just to get to see their time warp. To see this, there's got to be a bunch of this on something else that we can get access for free. Okay, here we go. Maybe we can get to this. This is on Pinterest. Sign in is, yeah, I can't sign in that way. So here is a blow up of skeletons found. Archaeologists to send expedition to explore graveyard in New Mexico where bodies were unearthed. This is Los Angeles, California, February 10th. It doesn't say what year. Owing to the discovery of the remains of a race of giants in Guadalupe, New Mexico, and let's see, antiquarians and archaeologists are preparing an expedition further to explore that region. This determination is based on the excitement that exists among the people of the scope of country near Mesa Rico, about 200 miles south of Las Vegas, where an old burial ground has been discovered that yielded skeletons of enormous size. So, yeah, they found something in Mexico, New Mexico. Looks like on whose ranch, the ladies' ranch, they found it. They found the ancient burial plot is located. Discovered 2 stones that bore curious intersections, and beneath those were found in shallow excavation the bones of a frame that could not have been less than 12 feet in length. The men who opened the grave say the forearm was 4 feet long, and that in a well-preserved jaw, the lower teeth ranged from the size of hickory nuts to that of the largest walnut in size. The chest of the being is reported as having a circumference of several feet. The person uncovered it. It's Quintana, who has uncovered many other burial places, expresses the opinion that perhaps thousands of skeletons of the race of giants long existed will be found. This supposition, I don't even use words like that anymore, is based on the tradition handed down from the early Spanish in a vision that they have detailed knowledge of the existence of the race of giants that inhabited the plains of what now is eastern New Mexico. Indian legends are carvings also in this same section indicate the existence of such race. Very, very small. So this is 1902. So we have, in 1902, they discovered giants in New Mexico, eastern New Mexico, which is more to Comancheria, into Texas, dealing with the Apache. There'd be a lot we could try to uncover through the Apache. You never know. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy. It's crazy. You know, I know there was a big rush to gain attention and fame and wealth by discovering these giants throughout the American continent. I know there's a lot of folklore. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's probably been involved in that, because back in the day, you just had to have, like, you know, Billy the Kid, little handbook you wrote, you were famous. Whatever captivated the attention of New York and the metropolis cities, you became a very famous writer. So, but what I'm seeing is a consistent biblical forward through these times. So I really think there is a lot of credit that needs to be given. You know, during this discovery, many of us have never heard about the 1902. I guess you'd call it a expedition that was set out in eastern New Mexico. So during this time, you got to remember, New Mexico and Arizona was still, the Apache wars were still pretty. There was still Apache wars going on during this time, guys. In northern Mexico, which was New Spain, northern Spain, New Spain, at that time there were expeditions to set up San Antonio. You know, the fathers were sent north to in the 1600s to convert the natives to Catholicism, but a lot of that didn't happen. There was a lot of exploration that wasn't happening due to the Apache and the Comanche, which the Spanish and later the Mexicans destroyed the Apache, just annihilated. Like, there was only 1,000 Apache men left in the entire area, which most of those were enslaved. I read, you can watch it on the History of San Antonio on a show you can look up on Spotify. So really some evidence of what was happening here in the western U.S., why all of our stuff that was happening in the eastern U.S. during the 1700s Revolutionary War and all that, there was much, much more going on here in the West. So we basically inherited an area, an entire section of the continent that was under Spanish rule, but yet was not under Spanish rule. A lot of this area was under Apache and Comancheria into New Mexico, Arizona, Texas. My area of Utah was conquered by the Mormons in the north, but you know, then they set down settlements south into St. George. But by that time, so much had gone on. So much had gone on. We had major blizzards, we had major storm events, we had, you know, what drove the Apaches south, what drove the Comanches out of Utah, you know, what drove the Navajo out of the north too. I mean, a lot of people migrated south due to climatic events that were happening. You got the Hopi that came clear from the Six Nations, the original Five Nation Iroquois Confederacy, following the Blue Star. So we have a lot that has happened here that is not documented. The carvings, the sheer number of war arrowheads here that was here, just huge amounts of war arrowheads. Our obsidian arrowheads, they were agate arrowheads of war size, not of game killing size, war size. So there, you could feel it in this west of Cedar City, especially just out there at the Indian Peaks Wawa Range and the Nevada border. Just a creepy area that something massive has gone on, sickening to the soul. These areas are really not to be inhabited. You can just tell. I mean, there's people that are moving out there buying property, setting up places. They're the strong of the strong. I personally it out there. I have interests in one of those ranges, by the way. I have some claims. There is something there. Yeah, and there's families I know that farm ranch out there and all that stuff. But to be connected to the history of this place, um, I really don't think that I belong out there in that sense, where I'd go live there, unless I made peace with the bad spirits that are out there. You know what I'm saying? The good spirits that are there. You guys follow me on that? I have to make peace with them in order to get acceptance in that area. But it still just creeps you out. Still creeps me out. So let's go back to, oh, these are, see, I have to save all these. If I want to click on them, I have to save. I want to just try to enlarge some of this stuff. I don't want to save it. There we go. Okay, the Bible mentions several races of giants as the Rephaims and Ananokians, or Ims. That's weird, because Raphael reminds me of Raphael. The Imim, the Zimim, here we go again. I'm going to murder these words. I'm just telling you, I'm going to murder the crap out of all these words. It's not going to work in any way, shape, or form. So here we go. Let's go for this, because I mean, you're literally, guys. I'm reading this. Yeah, good luck with that. And on top of that, I don't pronounce these weird words. I have a hard enough time with English. Just saying. I think that's a crazy language too. Zonzimdiums and others. Profane, historical, also mentioned giants. They gave 7 feet of height to Hercules. That's the first hero, and in our days have been seen men 8 feet tall. The giant who was shown in Rowan in 1735 measured 8 feet some inches. The Emperor Maximum was of that size. That's some crazy stuff, guys. Did you guys know the Emperor Maximum was of that size? This is stuff I haven't read. This is like old stuff. This is like old writings. Oh man, it's crazy stuff, guys. 1876. This is this is what was going on in 1876. Where did we go wrong? Where did we lose sight of this entire topic? Oh, no. Got to arrow back. I don't want to do what I just did. Okay, cool. We're back where we were. His name is Peaceful Man that posted this, by the way. Probably stole it from somebody. Thanks a lot, Peaceful Man. You're giving me some material to talk about, and we're learning. We're learning about subjects that they have erased. Maybe mankind should stop fighting each other, should we? Maybe we can unearth these guys and maybe have a real fight on our hands. Okay, anyway, so we got back to that Maximus, Gluteus Maximum. Emperor Maximum was of that size. There we go. Skenkios, and Platorus, physicians of the last century, saw several of these of that stature. Saw a girl who was 10 feet high. The body of Orestes, according to the Greeks, was 11 feet and a half. The giant Galbara brought from Arabia to Rome under, I can't even sup, Julius Caesar. No, it was Claudius Caesar, was nearly 10 feet tall. And the bones of Scondilo and Pufio, oh, you guys words, keepers of the guards of, okay, I give up on the names. We're just going to have to do this without the names. I'm telling you. Get serious, you know what I'm saying? Because it's just ridiculous. I can't get it. Keepers of the guards of whatever were but 6 inches. Aborter, 6 inches of aborter, Aborter, in Roman. In Rowan, L-O, it looks like a U-E-N. It's really kind of fuzzed out, guys. In 1509, in diggings in the ditches near the Dominicus, they found a stone tomb encompassing a skeleton whose skull held a bushel of corn, and his bones it looks like his shin bone reached up to the girdle of the tallest man there. They wore girdles. Just saying. They wore girdles. Yeah. Anyway, so moving right along. So there's plenty. This is insane. This is on Pinterest, actually. Go to Pinterest, check it out. It talks about a lot. It goes clear through. You go clear down to 1705 near the banks of Madeira, a river at the foot of the mountains of that's why I picked the Americas, because I could almost pronounce their names. Almost. Anyway, 1613, they got that too. This is a article entitled Giants. I really don't know how to access this, but it was uploaded on Pinterest by a guy called Peaceful Man. Peaceful, one word, man. If you go to Pinterest and go to it, it's called Giant Skeletons 25 Feet Tall, which I wish we'd find a little more information on this, because it's just over and over throughout history. Now, if we're trying to solidify biblical history, these are going back into the Greeks, lots of Romans, so you're kind of dealing with that issue. But then you get the Native Americans, and I don't think the realization that they want to solidify Catholicism at that time. I think that, especially the Comanche, were not about solidifying Catholicism. Not one Comanche was converted by the Spanish. That's, you can look it up. You check it out. All the missions, they tried to tame the Comanche. Good luck. They found out they could not convert those people. They would not. And the Apaches would convert. They'd turn around the next day and raid them. You know, they'd be like, "Oh, make a peace with the Apaches," and the Apaches would be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna I'm Chief whatever. Let's be friends." And then the next week, all of a sudden they get attacked, and they're like, "Wait a minute, that's Chief whatever. Where?" You'd be like, "Oh, sorry, bro, I changed sides." Yeah, so that's the way things were here in the Americas. I mean, these were warlike people. They were bathed in war. Bathed in battle. That's how this place was. I'd never say settled. There was so much that went on here. So much. We would probably be scared. You would probably be scared to know what was here. You would probably look at the darkness west of like Parowan into the West Hills and go, "I am never going out there. Ever." Because, as we kind of understand, the giants went underground. Same with the binding of the angels by the archangels. So that's pretty much underground. They just don't want to be digging stuff up, which scares me because of the pits that we're digging for gravel. We will get into that because that's, yeah. Anyway, so got other articles on here. You can literally click on all of them. Link with giant race on Earth. Discoveries in Transville. Primitive nature's fate. I mean, it just goes on. Exhumation of human skeleton. One New York day, let's see, we click on this, we can get to it. On New Year's Day, while the quarrymen this quarryman scares me, employed by the Sauk Rapids Water Power Company, were engaged in quarrying rock from for the dam across Mississippi. At the place, they found embedded in the solid granite rock the remains of a human being of gigantic stature, about 7 feet below the surface of the ground and about 3 feet and a half beneath the upper sternum stratum of rock. The remains were found embedded in the sand, so it was embedded in sand to preserve it, which had evidently been placed quadrangular grave, which had been dug out of the solid rock to receive the last remains of this. This is really bad. Look at this. Look at that. You see what I'm trying to read? Whatever. We're here for educational purposes, right? I'm telling you. So, the head of the massive man was 31.5 inches in circumference, but low in the 0.8 frontis and very flat on the top. Now, the Choctaws and the Flatheads used to put the board of the baby's head to make the elongated skull. They thought it was attractive. You can look it up for yourself. The Choctaws were huge when the Spanish encountered them. They were huge, 7 feet on the men, 6 on the women's the average height. They used to put the baby butt board or whatever they want to call it, and they'd strap that board to its head, and its head would be elongated. So the giants, they're saying the one they unearthed was a giant with an elongated head, which I do see evidence of that in 1800 photos, turn-of-century photos in tribes. I do see more of the elongated back forehead, which could have been caused by repetitive binding of the child's skull, the infant's skull. You never know. Or it could be of the descent of these different tribes that were talked about in the last little clip I read about that I couldn't really read because it's not really the best reading in the world. Anyway, so it was surrounded by granite rock, and they dug it out. They were building a bridge across the Mississippi, and they unearthed a giant. And that's very common. It seems very, very, very common. It may have been a phase that this country was going through at the time, but I really don't think so. I don't know, because it goes clear back to Rome. Some of the Caesars had it. They had them bodies too. So let's see. Excavation of a gigantic human skeleton. New Year's Day. We've seen that. I keep thinking New York. Skeleton of giant Indian found. Oregon, October 21st. Road workers. Yeah, that's another one. This in Klamath Falls, Oregon, October 21st. So this was, they don't have the whole clipping, just a minute clipping of it. Relics of prehistoric times were uncovered by road workmen in Klamath, March country. It became known today one jawbone was of particular immense size. Opinion here is divided as to whether it was old Indian burial grounds or the battlegrounds where the Indians buried their killed where they fell. Many Indian relics were uncovered near the skeleton. Through modern technology, we're able to actually surf and see other historical events where we could pretty much put together. It was probably, they consider it was relics. We might be talking about spearheads, atlatl heads, arrowheads, battle gear. This may have been a part of the conflict between the native tribes of humans against these Nephilim giants. That's what I would pretty much take from that. That's a really good one. Here's another one. So that was in Oregon. Let's go to this one. It did specify a date. We're talking this 1900s, early 1900s. Skeleton 8 feet high. Important discovery in mound near Springfield, Ohio. Looks like June 12th. We don't have a date on this. 1896 they put on the side. So looks like some boys while playing on Barrett's Mound in the village of Spring Valley, southwest of here, discovered a number of human bones that had been unearthed by the upheaval of a tree during the windstorm. Excavations were made and 4 bodies were found, resting in the ground where the tree had stood. All had been buried with their heads to the east, indicating reverence from the sun, and one of them was found in a relining position. They had been covered by mussel shells, but on being exposed to the air, the shells crumbled to dust. The skeletons indicate a race of people close to 8 feet in height, and from relies, yeah, it should be relics. That's probably C, looks like an E, or yeah. And other indications were apparently warriors and belonged to some prehistoric race. The skeletons were viewed by an immense throng of people. When an attempt was made to move them, they fell to pieces. Their excavations were made. Further excavations were made. So apparently the bones were brittle and they fell apart when they tried to move them. You got to take it with a grain of sand, but you got to think that also you got to think about the truth and is out there. And the truth is out there. They could be continually lying, unless it was like the vampires, Dracula, the going throughout the villages. Oh, Dracula! Oh, Dracula! All he was doing is impaling Turks. I mean, come on. But that the rumor grew, but I really don't know. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. There's the mountains in Ohio. They talk about it again. There is a lot here. There is a lot here, guys. So if you get a chance, check it out. Pinterest has it on there. We could dive further into this subject, which we're going to through Cannibal Giants. I showed on one of my videos that I uploaded. They're actually the Spanish were witnessing him cutting the dead enemies to pieces and walking off with their bodies like it was they were butchering a deer. It was like that was a Spanish drawing of their encounters with the whites that were the white giants that were on the East Coast. They weren't Native Americans, I'll tell you. Let's see, a human femur right here. Let's see what this guy's got here. He says 47-inch human femur in the late 1950s during a road construction in southeast Turkey in the Euphrates Valley. Many tombs containing the remains of giants was uncovered at this site. Leg bones were measured to be 120 centimeters, 47.24 inches. Joe Taylor, director of Mount Blanco Fossil Museum in Texas, was commissioned to sculpt this anatomically correct and to scale human femur. The giant stood some 14 to 60 feet tall and had 20 to 22 inch long feet. His or her fingertips would be 6 feet average ground. See, it just keeps going. He's got a picture standing here with the recreation he had to make. You obviously see the femur bone is bigger than him. But we just read on Pinterest about, or whatever, just before this, about the actual giants that were here, that were in the Euphrates, and we know about the giants. So we even have, Greek giants too. So we're 27 minutes. I don't know, guys. This is really, really awesome. Really, really awesome. So there's so much more we can look at. And a lot of you take stuff with a grain of salt. It's like the giant wolves, like the giant bear, the short-faced bear that was here. There's a lot of giant animals. They just unearthed a giant fossil in Nevada the other day. One of the biggest fossils they've ever found of an animal, prehistoric, ancient, prior to everything, they believe. So, I mean, maybe there's a connection, correlation between a lot of this. I do have an area out west that I believe would be worth checking out. And I have an area close to Cedar City that needs to be checked out too. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out in 2 minutes. Looks like they're talking upstairs. Anyway, they're on the treadmill up there. Yeah. It's kind of crazy kids, right? Crazy kids. I believe more in giants than I do lizard men. I have way, way, way more evidence on this. And I think we have a lot more to find. I just can't understand why they would have took a giant with gigantus, whatever. They had problems with their biological makeup that gave them that gigantic, whatever, where their body wouldn't quit growing. The people I've witnessed that had that, I've seen online, pretty much were random. But I mean, there is big humans. There is really big humans still to this day. We're looking for the descendants of the gods or the angels that came here, the 200. Kind of funny how the 300 with the Spartai, right? Well, that's a whole other episode to do with the Sown Men and Cadamus and what she did, or he did, when they planted the teeth of the dragon that they slayed with the Greek army, and then they rose as Sown Men, and that's where we get the Spartai from. 300, the show 300's after that. But that is probably a descendant lineage upon this earth of angelic being. So they were used to do other stuff. Remember Hercules and Achilles were just half demigods, half breeds like these guys. So anyway, just imagine unearthing an entire civilization of Hercules and Achilles, and they eat you. That seems like a real endeavor we should all try to do from now on. Cannibal Giants, we should be right on it, because that would be so cool. So cool. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. 30 minutes plus. Trying to keep the videos to 30 minutes. I will upload these videos as fast as I can. Looks like Facebook or Meta is really, they really hate me. I can't hardly get videos uploaded. And as far as YouTube, the algorithm won't pick me up. It just won't. YouTube is just so hard to get anything to happen. We're going to try. I'm going to try. Me and the buffalo skull over here, my buffalo I hunted. But we're going to try to upload more videos, and let's explore this further. Also try to start up CannibalGiants.com and Utah Paranormal Activities and Utah Paranormal Adventures. And another one I have is called Paranormal Beings. So, anyway. Yeah, 2022. We'll try it. Remember, fortune favors both. You guys have a great night. Great to talk to you. Hope you like, share, follow. Let's get this channel big enough so we can actually do something. Maybe do some adventures. Let's beat these guys in New Mexico and actually go off a real adventure, because I know where they're at. But that is another story. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.